Greetings, Guardian Scholars. For week 4, our second week in level 2, you can get there through modules or through the buttons on the home page. And we'll have our week 4 welcome and preview. On Monday morning, we're going to have a required Zoom class for 1 hour. We will talk about Research Quest Level 1 and MLA citation briefly, and in the second half of class I'm going to put you in groups based on your book club cruise, and in the breakout rooms you guys will choose what roles you want to play after I explain them and what your reading schedule will be. And if you can't figure it all out within the time that we have on Monday, then you guys can decide how you will determine that right after. We'll always have our weekly reflective journal. This week I'm going to be asking you to reflect on just the wide variety of potential careers that you might consider. And then we'll talk about MLA citation. And for Research Quest Level 1, this is really, really important. This one is going to help prepare you for Essay 1. It'll give you most of the evidence that you'll need for your essay, and it's preparing you for your career presentation in Guidance 47. And so you can download it. I have a partial model. I have a video that I made explaining how to do this. And like I said, I've borrowed this straight from Maria Manus for Guidance 47, but I've included a little stuff on MLA that I want you to include to practice so that you're prepared when we move into the research paper. And so that is going to be focusing on finding finding out about a career that you're interested in. We will have an asynchronous alternative that I will announce in the middle of our live meeting on Monday. And then on Wednesday, we'll focus in on what we're going to be doing for due Thursday. Now, I did want to point out that there is an extra credit opportunity for the reading and research category. There are a bunch of workshops available, but there is one specifically this Wednesday. I think they're going to be the same, so I'll make this available again in future weeks, but I think it'll be the same workshop each time, so you don't need to go to more than one of these. It'll always be the same link, so I put that link in here. And if you attend one of the workshops, you can earn up to 10 extra credit points by attending, and then you're going to write down when you attended, the name of the librarian presenting, and 3 helpful things you learned about accessing databases, techniques for searching, how to cite. And so if they ask you to do research yourself during the workshop, try to tie it to one of the essays that we're going to do. And especially you might already be thinking about our Essay 3 research project, which is proposing a solution to a problem. And so you might think about a problem that you care about and maybe ask them to demonstrate how to research that. Okay. And then we're going to have our 3 S's for step 4. Occasionally I've seen people do this based on Street Life or Grit. This is really supposed to be from 10 Steps to Earning Awesome Grades, so please make sure that you're reading the correct book. So I re-included it on the steps so that you could find it. And you're just looking at maybe a sentence or 2 of summary. What did you learn about, what advice did you get? How are you doing in this area? What do you do well? What do you need to work on? And then specific steps, specific actions you're going to take this semester to get better. Okay. And moving along, I know there's still been some confusion about the Writing Center, so I tried to make another video explaining how to access that. This time, the one that I'd really like everybody to do is Thesis Statements and Key Terms 3, so that's C.3b. I noticed that in the Writing Center, I emailed the Writing Center director about this, but they were missing this PowerPoint presentation, but it is here in our class. But I do want you at the end of this, and let me just click on it really quickly. At the end of this, I do want you to talk to an instructor. They're not going to be able to sign it, obviously, but do talk to an instructor, and then you can tell me who you talk to. please make sure that you're tracking your time for me so that I can, it's really just self-reporting. Hey, I went in on this day and I spent about this much time on this DLA. And then you're going to submit the assignment as we've been doing. Okay. I have two support activities this week. One is directly preparing you for the pre-writing assignment that's due Saturday for Essay 1. So I have a very short, I think it's about a 2 to 3 minute video explaining outline basics. And I have a quiz that's really primarily focused on the first one. However, I really like this 6-minute video that talks about how to think through how to arrange your ideas. So this is more how to create the physical outline, what it should look like. But this is more how should you think about putting your ideas in order. And they have this great example of taking all your ideas, cutting them up on little pieces of paper, and then arranging it in different ways and seeing what works best for you. And so there is a little 5-point quiz that you can take. And if you look, allowed attempts unlimited, time limit none. So even if you want to just do the quiz and see, and then if you go, oh, okay, I don't think I understood as much as I should, then you could go back and watch the 2-minute video. But I think the video is really helpful, and neither of them is very long. We have another support activity for English 91. So based on what I saw on our first Writing Sprint 0, I'm not surprised by this. There were some issues with run-ons, comma splices, fragments, and that's really probably the number one kind of issue I see in people's writing generally every semester, as long as I've been teaching in the last 20 years. And so I have a quick 7-minute video that explains what these are and how to correct them. And I wanted to point out, I put a DLA in here on grammar. You could do this one instead of the thesis one, but I am actually going to have you do a grammar DLA in a future week. But if I said something on your writing sprint about working on run-ons and fragments, you could decide to do this DLA instead this week if you want. Or if you do both of them, then you're just going to be ahead, right? And so you could turn in that DLA for a future week. I believe week 5, I asked you to do a grammar DLA, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, no, week 6, maybe. So anyhow, and then we're going to have our Zoom study room again on Friday. And this one specifically, we're going to talk pre-writing. And so I already sent out a Google Doc collaboration to everybody earlier, and I saw Michaela got right on. Hi, Michaela! And so you don't need to look at this until Friday, but what I wanted to do is have a document where together we could work on the 2 parts of the pre-writing that are due on Saturday. And so what we'll do is we'll do the textual evidence quest together, and then we'll start thinking about how would you put this together in an outline. Okay, it's important to have your copy grit available. So if you have a book, I'm hoping you guys have your books by now. If not, if you have like a library copy available, that would be great too. And please keep sending me updates through email about how things are going with your book, just so that I'm aware. And then the last thing for this week is our Essay 1 pre-write. And this is what we're going to be working on Friday. Is we're going to find 5 quotations that we think we might want to include in the essay. The essay guidelines are over here. I do have pre-writing models of this. And then the part 2 is to create an outline to help us write our first draft. And so I have a kind of sort of a model right there. And then you can do like a 1 to 2 day extension on this. You don't want a long extension because our rough draft is due Tuesday, and then the final draft is due Saturday. And so the rough draft, there really are no extensions on it because there's a peer review. So this is not for week 4 apologize, this is for week 5, but I'm just letting you know you want to get that Essay 1 pre-write in so I can give you feedback before your rough draft is due. Once you've done the Essay 1 pre-write, you can go ahead and start working on drafting your essay because you know that the rough draft is coming up and that it's due Tuesday, and then you're going to have a peer review due, and then finally the final draft will be due. Okay, so hope that helps.